Welcome back to another episode of Out of Bounds. This is episode 18. This week, I have one of my best friends, August Riley, on. Of course, had to do it over Zoom, and so there's a little bit of a delay and a little bit of lag and freezing up of the video, but luckily, the audio is very clean. August and I, like I said, she's one of my best friends, and we could talk for days. That being said, the footage that we have, it was so long that I decided to chop it up and make it into 2 episodes. So this week we're going to have part 1 of episode 18, and next week we're going to have part 2. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you love August as much as I do. Let's get that video started, shall we? Welcome back to another episode of Out of Bounds. I'm your host, Danell Leyva. This is a really phenomenal guest of mine. Her name is August Riley. She's a great friend. We met not that long ago. Technically, it's already been 3, almost 4 years, but it feels like we've known each other for such a long time. August is also an actor. More than that, she's a really cool lawyer, but I'm going to let her take over and introduce herself. And then we're going to talk about stories, how we met, and then just how our relationship has grown from there.
Well, hi. I'm offended that this is how long have you had this podcast? A zillion years now. And this is I'm offended that I'm your 18th guest, but that's fine.
You're my 3rd guest.
Okay, I'll take it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Dee said, I moved to LA in 2013, which is insane. And I graduated from the University of Southern California Law School in 2016. Then you and I met immediately after that. It was spring of 2017 was when we met. Because we started our first acting class in March of 2017.
Or April. Yeah, March. Yep.
Yeah. I remember because it's right after my birthday. That's why. And so, and so then we became such good friends, which is so funny because, I always tell people, you and I are, kindred spirits. So we are the same person.
Absolutely.
We are the same person.
I haven't said this to you. I've only ever thought of it. But you were the one person. Whenever I need to be messy and just be petty about anything, you're the person that I call. And August and I, she does the same to me whenever she needs to vent about anything. And there's zero judgment, and it's so fun because it's it doesn't mean anything. And we're just and then we're fine. But I've never had that before. And I've never been able to actually truly express that inner pettiness, and I just feel so connected. We are definitely kindred spirits, absolutely.
Wait, I'm so honored because that was the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, even though it was super bitchy, but that's fine. I'm touched. I'm truly touched that you love me so much because I'm an asshole.
I just feel so connected because same.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about? What did you say? You gave that synopsis at the beginning, but I clearly wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, funny enough, I actually literally just spoke about you in my last podcast, which if you're watching on the video podcast, it's right here, I think, where you can see the link. And if not, if you're listening on my Patreon account, then go to YouTube and watch the last episode. I was mentioning how the way we met was very interesting because I started that acting class and I was just hi, I'm just which is dumb because unfortunately the 2 first classes I went in sports clothes. Because both times I had auditions that required me to be wearing sports clothes, which is was a dead giveaway for me. I'm not an athlete, but I'm wearing athletic wear. I want to say if it wasn't the 2nd class, it was the 3rd one.
Wait, can I tell this story?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So this is how our whole acting class found out that Danell is who he is. Like I said, I hate using the word famous because it's like, oh, LA and like blah, blah, blah. But like people knew who you were. So
at that point, like, especially.
And so when I saw you, I was like, I honestly had assumed that you were an actor, like a working actor that I had seen on like some show, and like I couldn't place where I knew your face from, but whatever. Because there are tons of people in classes that it's like, oh, that's so and so, like, and so yeah, so I was just like, all right, whatever. And then D comes to class. So in this class, we had to, like, obviously you have to stand in front of the class and, like, do your scene and stuff. And we also did, like, breathing exercises and, like, body work and, like, all this stuff that, like, I'm, like, real off acting classes right now. So I'm, like, very, very jaded. And we'll get to that in a second.
August and I were literally just talking about, yesterday, or maybe it was today. Like, we're going to get there, though. We're getting there. We're creating the timeline. Yeah. Right now we're here. We're going to get here. We're at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to get there. So D stands up, and I think we were doing like that brain bounce game where it's basically like you say a bunch of words and then we say a bunch of words until we both say the same word. Like I don't remember what it's called.
The Meisner
it's like some improv
thing.
Game. Yeah. And so Danell stands up, and he's wearing like a pair of jeans and a top. Why did I say a top? Like,
oh my God, yes,
okay, this is fucking Paris Fashion Week. He's wearing a t-shirt, and someone goes, and it wasn't me. Because at this point, Dee and I had become like friendly. Yes. She's like, oh my God, I love your jeans. I didn't know that Nike made jeans. And I just go, they don't.
I said it
out loud.
I literally said, I looked and I was like,
it was so awkward.
I was like, they don't. And she goes, oh, excuse me. And I was like, yeah, I got them at and
no, you said I got them at an event. This man said I got them at an event. And at this point I was like, okay, because in lawyering you do a lot of different jobs, like in the sense that like one of the things I love the most about being a lawyer is that every case that you have is a different topic. So you get to learn a lot about different things all the time. Like right now, some of my cases are like shows on Broadway, and then like other cases are like dealing with restaurants, and like you just learn a lot. So I knew that past Olympics, basically Nike always does the like outfits that y'all wear. And sometimes it's Ralph Lauren and sometimes it's Nike. Like it depends.
It's both.
So, right? Because isn't your like fancier outfits Ralph Lauren, and then the Nike stuff's like the everyday stuff? Right. Okay. Yeah. And so as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God. I like, because the whole time I was like, Danell and I had become friends. Like we were friends, but I just like couldn't remember where I knew his face from. And then as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, okay. But then I had the thought that people always have about me also, where I was like, okay, but why are you in acting class? Like, I was like, I have a lot of questions. And then we had to play that game. So in that acting class, like you get notes all the time. And one of my tells when I don't rehearse, when I'm unrehearsed, and when I don't know my lines, and when I'm really just like roughing it, everyone has a certain way to like perform through their bullshit, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
And mine is I get really like flirty and fun. And like if I don't know the lines, I'll like make things up but be like really cute while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And our acting teacher was like, stop doing that as a crutch. Or what did she say to me?
Yeah, she was like, you're using your cuteness as a crutch or something like that.
Yeah. And I was like, I didn't even realize I was doing it, but 100%, she was 100% right. Yeah. Like, because I don't do it if I've had time to rehearse, if I'm prepared, I don't fall into that character. But when I am not, and I'm basically having to do less actual acting and more like getting through it, I basically fall into the person that I am when I'm like trying to get someone to like me. Like not even as like a boyfriend or girlfriend, just I want the room to like me. And so she was like, stop flirting with everyone, is what she said to me. And then immediately after, this is the moment that Danell and I became friends. Immediately after, we have to play this like mind reading game where we sit across from each other and we hold our hands open like I don't really know why. Whatever it was. And we sit there and we're like, you have to say your thoughts back and forth to each other. Mm-hmm. And we're both doing this, and he's like, you were like, what are you thinking? And I was like, what are you thinking? And you're like, what are you thinking? And I was like, honestly, I'm just trying really hard not to flirt with you right now. And Danell like bursts out laughing. And everyone's like, what? Because there was only like 3 people in the room when she gave me that note. And it was like D, me, and someone else. And so I was just like, I'm just trying really hard not to flirt with you right now. And everyone was like, what? Like, what is going on here? I mean, I guess I didn't really mention this before we started talking about acting class, but I feel like a part of the reason why you and I became such good friends so quickly was because we both came into this doing completely opposite things. Mm-hmm. And which was funny because we like, D was like coming down off of his stuff that he didn't want to do anymore. Mm-hmm. And I was slowly realizing that I hated being an associate. And then later we realized that it's really not, it's not the lawyering that I hate, it's just the type of lawyering that I was doing at the time. Now I have a really cool job that I love very much. But that was part of the reason why we became such good friends. And then we shot that Uber Eats commercial together.
We shot an Uber Eats commercial. We've worked
together actually worked together multiple times. That was one of those like, how did we book that? Oh, my agents were like, bring a friend. And I was like, D.
You literally called me.
That's literally what happened.
You called me.
Like, are you busy in 2 hours?
You literally said, hey, are you busy? I was like, no, what's up? And you said, I have to go to an audition. Can you come with me? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And I initially thought like, like just moral support. And then like in the car on the way there, she was like, yeah, so like you're going to audition with me. And I was like, I'm going to do what? I'm sorry. And then we got there and we charmed the pants. We charmed the pants off of the dude. He was so happy. He was like, oh my God, you guys are great. We were making him laugh. He loved us. We booked it. We booked it immediately. I don't even think we didn't even do a callback. No, we went straight to book. Yeah, which was awesome.
I mean, I'm so sad that Uber Eats commercial was internet only because it was so cute.
Excuse me. And it wasn't even internet only. This is all you saw of me. That's it. That's all you got.
I mean, they literally used my hands.
We worked an entire day. August has
like a long day.
A long day. What is it that you have? It's not celiac. It's
oh my God. So I have Hashimoto's disease, which is a thyroid disorder. And it makes, basically when your thyroid doesn't work that well, it makes like everything in your body very slow. And so I can't eat a lot of foods that take a lot of energy to digest. So I don't eat dairy, soy, gluten, and a lot of sugar. We get to the Uber Eats commercial.
The entire commercial, all we had to do the whole time, the whole day, was eat salad. Literally. That was our entire day.
Was eat salad, which...
I'm
going to go on the record. I'm sorry. It was good. Remember those juices, though? Not good. That was terrible.
I never had the juices. I think it was just you. It was you and...
It was awful. It was terrible. I'm sorry. I know that we were supposed to be selling the product. It was disgusting.
What was the company? Because it was Uber Eats, but we were specifically eating...
and Sweet Green.
Sweet Green. Again, yes. All of the salads that I got, which, by the way, all the salads that were there, I don't know if you remember that, they were, like, hand-making them almost every other take. We would take a couple bites, they would hand us a brand spanking new one. Because of the aesthetic of it. And then they never used, that's what they used.
They didn't even really use us, like, eating. Like, we had a whole table set up, and, like, they didn't get any of that. The thing that was also really weird about that shoot was that normally on a union production, this production was non-union, on a union production, you get a spit bowl. So you don't have to actually eat the salad.
Yes.
But they wanted us to really eat it, and... I think we left, and I was like, I'm going to puke. Like, not because I was it was so bad. It was so bad.
There was two main reasons, and I was incredibly surprised at your willpower to not throw up. Because, one, you have, the dietary restrictions that you have, and you were eating, specifically yours, for some reason, was the one that had the dairy dressing, straight dairy dressing, and they kept giving you that one. And you ate 6 hours full of salad constantly. And then that wasn't the worst part. The worst part is that we shot it literally on like in the hills, and on the way down
in this beautiful house.
But remember, on the way down, it was the one person, I can't remember who it was. There it is. On the way down, it was Speed Racer, and they were sweaving and going all. We were literally like. I almost threw up, and I was feeling great. I just had the healthiest eating day of my entire life.
Bad.
But August, oh my dear Lord, she was the most miserable that I think I've ever seen in my entire. There is one other time that I've ever seen her be that miserable. And I actually had the video, and I sent it to her recently.
Which was?
It was.
Are you going to say it?
It was when you had that job, and they were doing your hair for a solid hour, and then you were sitting there for 4 hours. Oh no, it wasn't even 4 hours. I can't remember how long. That you were literally sitting there for what was it? 2 lines or something like that? Even if you had a line.
Okay. Yes. The thing is that's really funny is I made 2 friends on that set who are still 2 of my good acting friends. I love Lisette so much. She was my opposite in that. Yeah. Basically, we were at a house party. It doesn't matter. It was this non-union film that was one of the things about the acting industry that bothers me, and I guess this is all entertainment, is that I don't want anyone to call themselves a hair and makeup artist if you can't do hair and makeup for every single human being on this earth.
And you know what?
Don't tell me that you are a hairstylist if you can only do white people's hair.
And if you can't do it, that's fine. But let the people know. You have to, because if the client
don't
or whoever...
Don't pretend like you do, which is what they always do.
Exactly. Because, of course, again, at the end of the day, I had a reaction today. I sent out a tweet. I was upset because I had an audition that I got at 6 p.m. my time. It was due the next day. And, as you said, we have other things to do. We are actors. We are not consistently working actors, which means that we have other things to do, And I was at the end of the day, I was still booked for the rest of the day, and I was still trying to figure that out. And it was just tough, and I tweeted something about how we are expected to be available. And so I get it. In every industry, I got people on the casting that were also it's not casting's fault. Sometimes we get a new character last minute, and I get it. Our industry is so hustle and bustle, and sometimes when you're a hairdresser and you get a job and they ask you, can you do a person of color's hair, you got to say yes, because it might be the only job that you'll get for a couple months,
because that might be your only job.
That's exactly.
And I fully sympathize. But okay, so one of the things in that situation, but on every single set I have been on ever in my life, every single one. I'm not exaggerating. Every single set I have ever been on, they either do 2 things. One, they find some way to fuck up my hair, because I will either straighten it myself, or have braids in, or my locks that I had for a while. And when I do that, they just go, "Oh, it looks good," and walks away. I was sorry, this is a podcast. They tap my head, and they just go, "Oh, it's good." That's what happened at the Target commercial.
Oh my God.
I was like, this doesn't look good. And then the other thing that they do, which I've had this happen to me a lot, and my friend Brandon says that it's because makeup artists and hairstylists are really excited to work with me, because this is Brandon speaking, not me, because it's a cool canvas and they're excited and whatever, and that's cool, because I don't look like everyone else, so I get it, and I fully get it. But they love to go ham on me for things that, like, I did not need to be Glamazon ready for your commercial. Like, why do I have pancake makeup on, like a full drag beat for a commercial? Like, there's no reason. What was the reason?
What was that reason? I think that Brandon is correct, but only to an extent. I think that a lot of times they just don't know what to do with you. And I know that because I've worked, like...
Oh, no, they don't.
So their default is just like, I put a lot of makeup on and I guess, like, I don't know what else to do. When in reality, like, you just have to have some sort of awareness of different looks, and it's funny because that's what the client asks for, but then at the same time they don't, when they get it, they're just like, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Because
that's the thing that also sends me always is like, you guys had my headshot, like, that's clearly what they wanted me to look like. Why do I look like America's Next Top Model right now? Like, what is happening right now? Like, why do I look like I'm going to prom? What is happening? My last commercial, the makeup artist literally put lashes on me. What was the reason? What was the reason?
I bet your lashes were longer than the lashes that she put on you.
Right? Like, and here's the thing. I mean, like, obviously I love working and it's so fun. And I always, like, become really good friends with the hair and makeup artist on every single set I am on. But every time I think every other time, every single time I felt like I had too much makeup on. But every other time, someone from production is like, you need to redo her makeup. You have to take the lashes off. You need, like, she can't, like, and then I have to sit there for another 15 minutes while they take down what they just spent an hour doing. I mean, it's really interesting to have this experience now, being a child actor and then going to law school for funsies.
Right, like being a child actor, completely stepping away from the industry, like completely like changing, being like, I'm done with it. And then doing the one thing that is the most stable job, basically, that you can have as an actor. I don't think I know any other actor at all who is a lawyer also.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. I mean, like,
it's not just like a whatever job. You're a lawyer. You're a whole ass lawyer.
Yeah.
And yet a good actor.
I mean, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, going to USC was such a... I know, I'm going to sound like so lame right now. I love USC so much. I had the most amazing time while I was there. I felt, for the first time, I mean, obviously when I was in college, I felt like intellectually challenged, but it was so intimidating coming here, because I went to a state school, right? Like, okay. And we'll talk about that in our next segment because we have a whole thing. But, I went to a state school for undergrad, and then I did really well on the LSAT. And so I only applied to the top 15 schools in America for law school, top 20. And basically I was like, all right, I had a list. So I was in student government undergrad because I'm lame and because exactly. And so, I had a list of all 20 schools that I applied to, and basically it was like a cross off if I didn't get in, like all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm just going to go to the best school that I get into that gives me the best scholarship. Right. And that was USC. Because USC has stupid money for, like, because it's just a huge school and so many donors and like all this stuff. So like all the other schools I got into, like, could not compete with how much money USC was giving me. There was no...
Can I just say, I think it's hilariously ironic that you went to a school that is notorious for its film and TV alum. Like everybody who went to USC, they're like big names in the industry, and you went to be a lawyer. But then you decided after you I know, that's really graduated, that you're like, I do want to go back into the film industry. I'm wondering, did being around, how much time did you actually spend on campus? Because I know that, for UCLA, that's the one that I hung out at the most. I only ever went to USC when I got hired for that short film that it was a person. It was like their graduation, like their thesis or whatever it was.
So many people go and shoot stuff at USC because they have the nicest, like the nicest soundstage. Everything is like A1. Beautiful. Yeah.
We didn't actually shoot at USC, but it was like the students were from USC.
Yeah.
So at UCLA, especially like the law students, I don't think they actually are ever on campus. I think they're off campus. So were you ever actually on USC campus, or do you guys also have an off-campus site?
Yeah. So the law school, so UCLA is set up a lot differently. Wow. Here we are talking about how smart I am, and I can't even speak. UCLA is set up differently than USC. USC's like a square, it's a rectangle, and UCLA is like a circle around each other. So the different buildings are more spread out at UCLA than they are at USC. The law school is directly on Truesdale, which is like the main street through USC, like the main walkthrough. It's literally on the corner of Figueroa and Exposition. Like it is like that corner is the law school. And so I was always on campus. I always studied there. I had like an office there because when you are in student government, you get like a little office or whatever. So I studied in there all the time. It was like a glorified closet, but I studied in there all the time. I was always on campus. And then they also offered classes that were basically like law and film, and what are the legal aspects of production, and what goes into contracts for even the artists and also the makeup artists, and also back of house people and stuff like that. And so
the things that people that are watching a movie will never ever think of, even people that work in movies, even a lot of people that work in movies, the things that we will never think about, but they are just as important as the actor, director, writer, producer, all this stuff.
Oh, it wouldn't get done. The movie wouldn't get made if not for a bunch of lawyers. To answer your question, I think being at USC definitely made me realize that I did miss being in front of the camera. It definitely put me in a position to be like, I could do this again. I will say that one of the things I won't say it held me back, because like obviously I'm booking and I'm doing well and I'm really happy, and I'm really happy lawyering too. I think why I didn't, from 2013, 2016, I was like going to law school. Your last 2 years of law school are like kind of a joke. The first year is hell on earth. The second year is like, okay, I have things I have to do. And the third year is like, why am I here? Like, you literally have nothing to do. And it was my third year of law school when I started thinking about like, oh, maybe I should like get back into it. Like maybe I should try it again. And I was so nervous about what people would think about me being a lawyer and an actress, and like what people would say or whatever. I was so concerned about that I was like frozen in space and wouldn't make a decision about whether or not I wanted to do it. And I'm really sad about that, because I had nothing to do that whole year, and that would have been a really great time to like do things. And it just really sucked. I try to be someone who's like, I don't care what people think about me, which is false. Everyone cares about what everyone thinks about them. Like you do. You just do. That's absolutely. Just facts. And absolutely. So I feel like I wasted that whole year just sitting around for the bar exam.
That's really funny.
But that was the year that made me think about it.
We're ending this one where we have way more footage that I'm uploading next week, which is actually great because it's going to give me way less work. So this is the end of the first part of August in my podcast episode. Next week, I will be uploading the second half of this, and hopefully you enjoy that.